And welcome. If you can hear us and not spill that coffee or hot chocolate, we are live for the first time ever on this YouTube channel after all the bugs and nicks and whatever you want to name it. We have finally made it to this point on this Cast to the King show. I'm your host, Joshua Mickle, and right beside me is my father. Join me for the first time ever, live. For the first time ever.
In person.
Yes, multiple times in person, but we are doing this live for the first time ever.
That's right.
So we hope audio is going along well, and the video quality is going along well, and the graphics will also be up to snuff. Amidst much hair pulling, we are finally here, and it looks like we still got good connection, so all is well. So we are going to dive into this.
Let's do it, Josh.
First topic, and for those of you tuning in, hopefully our Titan fans, it's the one and only Mike Vrabel we will be talking about. Of one Mike Vrabel, he has been outed as the Titans head coach, and after 6 years with us and multiple rumors, he's here, he's not here, power grab, no power grab, he doesn't want to control the roster, he wants a GM to oversee Ran Carthon. Just a quick reaction from you, father of mine. What do you think of said ousting of Vrabel? Shocked, surprised, happiness? What is it you're feeling?
Good riddance. That's what I say. First of all, I'd like to say that I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a good coach. He needs an established team. We've already talked about this before, though, on other podcasts. But he needs an established team to go to in order to be a leader of men. If I hear that one more time from Mike Vrabel, who is a leader of men,
they're saying Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator.
Oh, shut up! All right, look. Are you a good coach? That's what I want to know. But I think he needs to go to a team that's already established, like an Eagles or a Chiefs or somebody who's got a roster ready to rock and roll, the Cowboys or something like that, right? They just need something to get him over the hump. Maybe he could take them to a conference championship, to a Super Bowl and win it. I don't know. He has a horrible record of building a staff. And he's proven that over the last 6 years he was our head coach. Our offenses were bottom of the league 3 years of those six. When I say bottom, I'm like either the bottom or bottom three. 3 years out of his six that he coached us. So he's not an offensive-minded coach. I don't think he likes to share the spotlight with anybody or anything. He wants everything to go through him and be about him because he's the man, and he likes to get lesser talent and believes he can coach them up, which I would say sometimes he has and other times he has not, but lately he's missed more than he's hit. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't have any animosity towards him, but all of this, oh my gosh, Vrabel is the best coach in the NFL love that I've heard the last week. What? Have you guys not watched the Titans at all? 5-21, I think, is their record.
They never have, yeah.
In the last 2 years, 1-9, last 10 division games. He's the reason why we lost the AFC Championship against Kansas City, because he took over the play calling from the defensive side of the ball halfway through at halftime. And what did we end up doing? We were ahead, and we ended up losing that game. He's just horrible at those kinds of things. Can he inspire? Can he motivate? Sure. But we need something else for this team. And somebody said, and I can't remember who said it, somebody who played in the NFL who knows the Titans well, said that the Titans are antiquated. That is a huge slap across the face for the organization. I would say we need to come into the 21st century, and that's not something Vrabel is. Vrabel is a relic from 1985, and that's the way he is. He would have, I think, probably won a Super Bowl in 1985, but that's not how you win Super Bowls nowadays. So am I shocked? I'm shocked in a sense of the love for him, but not shocked in a sense that he deserved to be fired.
Mm-hmm. For me, it is a sense of, to your point, good riddance, because, maybe he should have been fired last year, but that probably would have been too premature of how he lost 7 straight. But, hey, he had I cannot believe 1 minute that he had zero say on the roster with John Robinson in-house, and especially last year. And I do believe the theory that new GM Ran Carthon, now 1 year with us, the going saying for Rand Carthon is that he let Vrabel, like he gave Vrabel enough rope to hang himself, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it was this whole collaborative thing between him and Vrabel to where Rand would say, hey, here's some players that you may like that fit your scheme, especially Andre Dillard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe Andre Dillard was the one outlier where Vrabel just saw on that list that is like, I want that guy. And everyone else is like, really?
That was a miss.
He didn't do well in Philadelphia. You want him? No, yes, I can coach him up.
Yeah.
I can coach him up.
No.
And we did worse than Dennis Staley after all.
Yeah.
But in terms of who, so trying to go into the next phase of this tighten up section of this show. In terms of going forward, now that Vrabel's behind us, and my thoughts on Vrabel are well documented on this show. He deserved to be out of there. He, again, to your point, it's the 1980s. There was no second, especially the last 2 years. There's no second half adjustments, none whatsoever.
Right.
So and he would get out coached, especially this year, by first year coaches, which is
because they are in the 21st century, Josh.
Yeah. Except for Doug Peterson the last week of the year, apparently. So
that's because Tim was given free reins over the offense, and look what happened.
Mm-hmm. So for this next portion, who do you want to be the next head coach? If you are the senior advisor to Rand Carthon doing these interviews, who do you want to say, call him right now and say, hey, you're the next head coach of the Titans?
Kyle Shanahan.
No.
All right, he's off the books. If I had to choose, I have three that I would say that are my top three. Slowick from the Texans, the offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson. There is a Brian Johnson, too. He's OC from Eagles, too,
yes.
Right? Anyway, so Ben Johnson is my number 2 offensive coordinator from the Lions. And number 3 would be Brian Callahan, from the offensive coordinator from the Bengals. And the reason why I say that is because if we have, and she said she's going to cast a wide net, and they're not going to say offensive or defensive coach.
We've interviewed about 17, it seems like. I think the number is 10.
We're interviewing all of them.
Yes. Hey, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. So, I understand the wide net. And then you're not necessarily interviewing for a head coach position either. You're getting people's takes, how they see our organization and how they would improve it, so to speak. So you get an insight as well. But if you hire a defensive-minded coach, like a defensive coordinator, right, and say he puts together a great staff, and if you have an offensive coordinator that is good or great, guess what? He's going to be gone inside of 2 years. Yeah, more than likely, right? Now you got to start over. Another one.
What did we just go through? Yeah, exactly.
So just go with an offensive-minded head coach who can build. Will Levis, who Amy Adams Strunk, our owner, said that we have a promising young quarterback. Obviously, we do. Now, is he a Hall of Famer? Can he take us to the promised land? We don't know that yet. But we won't know unless we have someone who can coach him up and have a system that fits his strength, the strengths of this team. A defensive-minded coach won't necessarily do that. So if an offensive-minded coach comes in and then the offensive coordinator gets taken up because we're doing well, there's no big deal because we still have our head coach and we still have our offense in place. I think it's easier to find a defensive coordinator who is good than it is to find an offensive coordinator who is good. So that's my reasoning behind it. Plus, we just need to go somewhere different. We've been in this same mindset of defensive head coach, with the exception of Ken Wisenhunt and Malarkey.
Good year in 4 weeks, yeah.
But, for 25 years, we've had, games of winning 13-10.
17-10.
Running the ball down the throat and all that kind of stuff. We need passers. We need an offense that stretches the field, big plays, with a run game that we use the pass to set up the run, not the run to set up the pass. So I think it can be done. I've seen there's so many teams doing it now. You look at the last 6 Super Bowls, 5 of them were offensive-minded head coaches. So as far as the winners, so those are my top three: Slowick, Johnson, and Callahan.
Yeah, I just want to get this one thing out of the way with Brian Callahan. Mm-hmm. I am convinced that if he's our head coach, we are going absolutely 100% weapon with our first round pick.
What do you mean?
Just based on what he just did in.
You're talking about like a receiver?
Yeah, like in the first round with our 7th pick, just based on what he just did with Joe Burrow 1 year. Next year, you get the receiver and not the tackle. And Jamar Chase.
And their offensive line sucked that year too. So, and then last year they went after.
But that was the same year they went to Super Bowl. But
but I got you.
I don't know why, but that's just my mindset. But
Nick Saban even said sacks are overrated.
Yes.
The king said sacks are overrated. So, I get it. But you'd also want an offensive line, even though you're getting sacked, you still want an offensive line that it's not a revolving door. Mm-hmm. Just like, hey, come on through, sack my quarterback. We don't want that.
Not. But yeah, my pick is it's obviously got to be Bobby Slowick. The connections are
big game, Bobby.
The connections are there as day from the Rand Carthon connections.
Yeah.
And you brought up to me the other day, our co-announcer with Mike Keith,
Coach McGinnis.
He knows personally Bobby Slowick.
Yes, his family worked with his dad.
Yeah, so as like the connections are already built in right there. Like that, what you just said to me. With that connection, it's just icing on the cake. But and I brought up with you, and you said it wasn't too far-fetched of a theory, is that the reason we are interviewing 10-plus candidates right now is that, say some of them, like for example, I think Brian's dad was part of the Exodus in Cleveland, O-line coach. Like for that as a theory is that you interview all these guys to be your head coach, only for you to say, we actually have like 1, 2, 3 guys we're actually interested in, and whoever we pick from that pool, we're going to present with them all these lists of available / unemployed guys that are available through either like promotion or they're either unemployed for coordinator jobs, and show them, hey, here are their tendencies, here's what they think of the team, and see, hey, do any of these gel with you? Possibly. Say if Brian Johnson was fired tomorrow, like if he was fired tomorrow, Brian Johnson, and we hire Bobby Slowick, that name will be on the set list, in my opinion. And it wouldn't shock me if Bobby says, hey, come on over to Tennessee, like you're getting slack in Philadelphia, come on down for a fresh start there. But
I think if you're interviewing for a head coach job, you already have in mind who your staff is, or who it would be, who you would choose, not relying on what Rand Carthon or the owner says, hey, here's what we think. They don't want to tell you that. That's why they didn't tell us their vision moving forward. Even though I think, if you read between the lines, Amy Adams Strunk's
21st century offense,
her presser, and it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs long, it spells out where she wants to go. If you read between the lines, it's like she's tired of being an old left behind, stuck in the mud organization. She wants to move it into the future. Mm-hmm. She wants us to be dynamic. She wants a quarterback that we have to be nurtured and to grow. She doesn't want the same old. And God bless her for finally saying something like that. Yeah. Bud Adams would have never said anything like that.
He probably would have fired Vrabel a year early.
I don't know. But anyway, I think if you read between the lines, you know exactly what her vision is.
Yeah.
But they want to know what you think coming in without tipping the hat, so to speak. Because if we tip the hat, then you can say whatever you want to say just to get the job.
Then Washington and their GM, Smart Group, is going to be like, hey, they're looking at him. We should go in on him.
Yeah. Well, if a coach candidate comes in and says, this is my vision for the team, and then without you even knowing it, that's the same vision they had, then they're like, ooh, that's my number one candidate right there.
Back up your Brinks truck. Who can pay the most in some of these cases? And
Kyle Shanahan. Come on. We can pay for him. Buy him out.
I think whoever is Ben Johnson is going to be, like, if he's the guy, he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to be a lot of money. If you believe the rumors from last year.
They said that was not true. That was irresponsible reporting. That's already been debunked.
Okay, so that's rumor. Yeah. So
they just didn't want him leaving Detroit. That's why they put that out there.
But, I mean, for any of these guys, like, if it becomes a bidding war, I'm curious as to how much Amy Adams is going to be putting up the dollar to keep. I mean, to say like, this is my guy, my stamp. You can't bid any further. Like,
well, you got to think about who are they going to bid for, though. All these guys are unproven, with the exception of Belichick, right? Who else is out there?
I imagine whoever he signs is going to be like a 4-year deal.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no one out there other than a Belichick and maybe a Harbaugh.
Yeah, for proven coaches.
Who would people would be clamoring for, so to speak? Mm-hmm. All these other guys are either retreads or would be their first go around as head coach. So I mean,
everybody we've interviewed except for Dan Quinn, and to my knowledge, everyone except for him and Antonio Pierce have not been head coaches.
Yeah. Those that are really only 3 that I would really seek out. A 4th would be, I don't know. Kafka, maybe?
Mike Macdonald, the defensive coordinator.
If we had to do a defensive-minded head coach, Mike Macdonald's from the Ravens. That's the guy.
Sean McVay for defensive coordinators is what he's being compared to.
Yeah, no, I agree. If I had to go with somebody, definitely him. He seems to have, what it takes. I would think that working with John Harbaugh, that he would have experience with seeing him build a staff, knowing that I need experts around me. And look at the Ravens now. I mean, they're in my mind, them and the 49ers are the favorites to win the Super Bowl based on what I've seen this season and how the organization is run. And as much as I hate the Ravens, they are ran. The organization is class. It's run very well. It's kind of like the Steelers. I mean, you just can't.
I don't think we put the name for whoever the offensive coordinator is for the Ravens. Whoever his name is.
Somebody's yelling, "It's this guy!"
Yeah. It's. I mean, if his name hasn't been put in the pot of coaches being interviewed,
I know it is. It's the guy who came over from Georgia. Come on, Jack. I know it is, but anyway, that's their offensive coordinator, and I wouldn't mind having him either. He's been successsuel everywhere he's been.
The 1 year with Lamar. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the college ranks,
yep.
Wherever he's been, his teams have been successful. So yeah, I can see that. I can get behind that one.
Yeah. And we're going to shuffle around a bit and not go in order because something funny dropped on X/Twitter. And it involves the Dallas Cowboys choking away, and per Adam Schefter of ESPN has confirmed for now that Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys, will be sticking around as the Cowboys head coach.
Hall of Fame coach right there.
And then one Skip Bayless, who livid Cowboy fan, just had this to say on his X account.
That is hilarious.
No!
Poor Skip.
But, man, how about that? The first ever 7-seed team since 2020, since they started up this whole thing, the Green Bay Packers have knocked off the number 2 seed Dallas Cowboys. My first initial impressions on it was after it got to 14-0, 21-0, 27-0, I'm like, this is deja vu all over again. This is Aaron Rodgers. They're undefeated in that stadium that they've built in Dallas. Like, ever since its conception and ever since Aaron Rodgers became starting quarterback, and now Jordan Love, now undefeated 1-0 in that building. Oh, my God, you cannot keep Dan Quinn. How do you keep Dan Quinn? Like, I understand you keeping Mike McCarthy just for the sake of the offense, but how do you keep Dan Quinn?
Well, the old adage used to be defense wins championships, right? And that's no longer true. That was back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. Defense doesn't win you championships. I mean, it's good to have, but offense wins championships now. So that's how
his name is Todd Monken.
Todd Monken. That's right.
In the chat, we see.
Yeah. Thank you, Andre. But anyway, you can't. I mean, it's hard to believe that the Titans have been in the Super Bowl more recently than the Cowboys. That is, it must be horrible to be a Cowboys fan right now. I used to be a Cowboys fan before I started following the Houston Oilers back in 1980. But before then, my team was the Dallas Cowboys and Roger Staubach. That was my favorite player. So I do know what it is to be a Cowboys fan.
Someone put it bestly described on X about what it feels to be what it feels to be a Cowboy fan, and they were saying we suffered the 1 year with the Bengals. This must be how it feels every single year to be a Cowboy fan. Such suffering, loss. How do you how's that healthy as a Titan? As a as a Cowboy fan to do that every single season.
Well, you got to look at the teams they play too, like Green Bay. Matt LaFleur, I was thinking that Matt LaFleur was going to suffer a Bill Belichick thing where it was Tom Brady who was credited to winning the Super Bowls, and then you had Aaron Rodgers. That was the reason why Green Bay was successful. But now I'm turning it around and saying maybe Matt LaFleur is a quarterback whisperer. I don't know. Jordan Love looked outstanding. And the Green Bay's defense was supposed to be depleted, not playing very well, but look at them. So that's why you play the games. It's like Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. And Green Bay went in there and put their big boy pants on and told Dallas to go in the corner and shut up. And so you have to look at that. I mean, you look at Cleveland Browns, they're suffering. I mean, they had the number one defense. Right? Defense wins championships? No. They had the number one defense and got demolished.
One of the reasons I want Bobby Slowick, you carve up that Jim Schwartz defense the way he did with the play calling.
And I love Jim Schwartz, I feel sorry for Cleveland Browns fans. They haven't had a championship. So now since the Lions are up and coming, if they win a Super Bowl, then guess what? Cleveland Browns have the longest drought. So I understand what it is to be long suffering, but the Titans, we don't have that history, that tradition like the Cowboys, the Browns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have the Oilers tradition, but still, it's not as. To me, we haven't won anything, so you don't have anything to hang a hat on. So it's like we can't be braggadocious and like yeah. What have you guys won? Well, nothing. Well, then shut up. So we can't really speak.
Not even one.
So, Cowboys have won their share of championships, so I can't really be down on them. But I don't know that I would keep Mike McCarthy. Look at the Broncos. They fired John Fox after they went in and won some playoff games, and then
got to a Super Bowl.
John Fox was let go. Next year,
Gary Kubiak
won a Super Bowl. Matter of fact, won 2 Super Bowls. So I believe it's like they say, NFL stands for not for long. What have you done for me lately? If you can't get me to the promised land, I understand being patient, but John Fox was there for a number of years. You have your time. The owner, they get older. They don't get younger. Look at Jerry Jones. He wants to win now. He has won, but still, he's 82 years old. He's not going to live to be 200, so he wants to win now. These owners, they want to win now. Jeffrey Lurie wants to win now.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't have time to be, kind of stroking you, and oh, you're such a great coach. I don't have time for that. I need you to do your job. I'm paying you to do your job. So go out there and win us a championship. And if you can't, within a reasonable amount of time, then you're gone.
Mm-hmm. So for as long as I've been watching sports on my phone, looking up sports clips, news, like ESPN clips since 2006. This has always been the thing with the Cowboys. I was never old enough to know what it was like for the Cowboys to win in the playoffs, to get the Super Bowls and the championships. I've now grown up my high school years and my college years, the last 10 plus years of them being the team where there is a black cat running around that.
It's the Romo curse.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Since 2006. Wow, maybe.
Tony Romo
now that you put it
has
that
cursed
way.
the Cowboys.
Now that you put it that way. Yeesh. But, man, Jordan Love. What a coming out party for Jordan Love.
I'm impressed. I really am. He was unflappable, in command, accurate. That's everything you want in a quarterback.
Some of the side throws that he made, like across his body, going the other way.
The knock on him was the only knock on him was he didn't. Could you read defenses in the NFL? His arm strength or accuracy, I don't think was ever questioned. Mm-hmm. It's all about making that between the ears transition from college to the NFL.
Yeah.
He's had the benefit of sitting on the bench for a number of years prior to even being a starter. But now that he's taking full advantage of it. I mean, they may lay an egg next week or this coming weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but based on what we've seen the last few weeks and last weekend during Wild Card weekend, Jordan Love Green Bay's got himself quarterback, and Matt LaFleur seems to be an awesome head coach. So Green Bay's got some exciting times coming up.
And Dallas fans has more deflating times ahead.
I don't know.
I don't know. I brought up the stat with you. All but 4 of their wins are against teams picking in this year's top 10 in the draft.
Yeah.
They
beat up on bad teams.
They beat up on bad teams, and they have an owner that loves to market them like they're Super Bowl contenders.
You have to.
And then when you go up against San Francisco, you go up against Philadelphia when they weren't in the slump earlier in the year. Yeah. When you go up against, they should have beaten Seattle. I mean, they should have lost to Seattle, and they should have lost to Detroit. You go up against the good teams.
They should have lost to Detroit for real.
You go up against these good teams. Did you
see how Skipper came in, though, during that game? Hey.
Yes.
I'm reporting is eligible.
It's the same guy, too, 68. And the fans were like, yes, he's reporting.
Yeah, that was funny. I love that.
Oh, man. All right, so next topic, we're going to get into 2 quick movie reviews, and then we're going to close out the show talking about said Lions. And we're going to be talking about one, Aquaman, The Last Kingdom, the last installment of the DC Extended Universe, as we look forward to the rebooted DC Universe in 2025. So I just want to get this out of the way. Your favorite villain, Black Manta. I know you say how much
I wish I had my figurine. I have a figurine. I hate Black.
You love him. Deep down, you love him.
It is the dumb. Outside of who was the girl from Batman, the flowery Poison Ivy?
Poison Ivy.
Was somebody high thinking, hey, dude, we got to create a baddie. Oh, yeah. How about Poison Ivy? Oh, yeah, man, that's cool. Come on, really? Black Manta? I don't. Is it Black Manta or Manta Ray? What's his?
Black Manta.
Black Manta. And he's got to have a big tank over his head.
Yes.
And he's got things that come out of the eyes of the big tank.
He got tried this time in this film.
It's dumb. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the movie itself, incredibly forgettable in my mind. I was, while you were mentioning it, I was trying to remember, God, what was that movie about? Hold on, let me get in the recesses of my mind, because it was that forgettable.
It was all sorts of things. It wanted to be a buddy cop movie. There was Lord of the Rings elements, like Mordor and Sauron elements in it. Yeah. I said to you coming out of the movie, like, this film, and yes, behind the scenes, it has dealt with multiple folks behind the scenes with different regime changes at Warner Brothers, at DC, and then finally James Gunn saying, hey, here's some tape and glue to hopefully weave this together, because we're not going to worry about this going forward.
It was
make it presentable, but yeah,
it was a throwaway movie.
Yeah, it felt like you see the puzzles there, but it wasn't put together. They didn't go with one idea and run with it. They didn't weave the ideas together, because at first there are some dramatic moments that it's like, like it tugs at your heart. Then next scene, it's like, okay, laughter. It's like, where did that come from? Like,
yeah, it was almost like, it almost tried to be a buddy, one of those buddy cop movies, like 48 Hours or Lethal Weapon or something like that with Aquaman and his. Who was he? That's his brother?
Yeah, that was his half-brother.
His half-brother running around together, so, whatever. Again, forgettable. Some of the CGI was really horrific. I'm surprised. Something that cost, what is it?
Over $200 million.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Plus marketing, double the budget.
And Godzilla Minus One had $18 million, and their CGI looked so much better.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That movie with Godzilla Minus One.
That was an awesome movie. And even reading subtitles, it's you didn't notice you were reading subtitles. You were so into the movie, and it's completely different from what I'm used to Godzilla being. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's off topic. But I thought Aquaman 2 was incredibly. It was a throwaway movie, very forgettable. Not impressed whatsoever. I'd give it 1 star.
Amber Heard was in the movie much more than I thought she would be.
And she had like 5 lines, and they were all. If you took her lines out, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah. But yeah, she was in the movie much more than I thought, considering what just happened with. Maybe her lines did get cut, but her screen time didn't, I guess. But
they should have had Depp come in and do a cameo in a character that kills her character.
Jack Sparrow comes in.
That would have been funny. Then I would say that's a great movie.
Now to pivot to the next Friends. Pivot. We're going to pivot to a wonderful movie that we had a wonderful time seeing in theaters. One, Willy Wonka. I mean, the movie is called Wonka. But
Wonka.
A prequel to the 1971 movie in spirit, and it pays homage to it. And I think it did such a great job honoring. I keep forgetting the actor's name that plays the original guy in that movie.
Oh, I know. It is. It's somebody's gonna say something.
The beauties of being live.
You guys are idiots. You don't know the guy's name. It's come on, Jack. Willy Wonka is played by Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I just thought of it right when you pulled it up. Oh, jeez. Yes, Gene Wilder.
Yeah. So Timothy Chalamet did the best Gene Wilder younger self impersonation throughout that movie. Like,
I mean, he didn't talk like him or anything, but the spirit of who he was.
The spirit. Yeah, the spirit.
Yeah.
But if you've seen any of the Paddington movies, 1 and 2, it's
no. I'm an adult. I didn't see any of those movies.
Super charming movies.
You watched Paddington?
They are not
what are you,
bad movies.
4?
They're such charming movies.
Okay.
They're such charming movies.
Charming. Okay.
It's hardest thing to do in today's world with Rotten Tomatoes is to get a 100% critic rating.
Okay.
Everybody across the board loves your movie that puts in the review. Only few films in the history of the metric have gotten 100%. Toy Story 1, 2. I think there's one more that I'm forgetting. And then Paddington 1 and 2. 100%. Like, to say you got every single...
Have you seen Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Oh, my God. We're not going to start that. No, I haven't.
I have.
No.
Your
Is that CGI mess?
No, it was actually pretty good. Your sister actually cried at the end.
I'm sure she did.
Oh.
Just like we cried at the end of Wonka.
I did not cry. I don't know. What are you talking about?
Well, then I'll admit it. I did cry.
I got a little in my feels a little bit, but I wasn't crying.
Because, I mean, Wonka, from the first opening credits, when you hear the piano tunes of in a world of pure imagination, then they do it throughout the movie. I'm like, if you do not pay this off, if you don't pay this off with the actual song, that's highway robbery. But they actually do it, and when they do it with one of the main characters, when she sees her family member at the end of the movie, tears like starting to form. I'm like, yes, this is so heartwarming. Like the whole movie. Like I can't think of anything cringy about it because it just, yes, there were characters that were cartoonish in a way.
Sure. Hugh Grant's character, which I loved. He was one of my favorites. So I loved Hugh Grant's character. That was funny. That was really nice. But I did find myself, when I was at the end of the movie or towards the end of the movie, I started thinking about, because I knew we were going to do a review on it, and I found myself saying, you know what? I haven't really stopped smiling.
Exactly.
During this movie. It's just something about it. It makes you smile.
I love listening to the soundtrack.
The soundtrack's pretty good. Not on the level of, the Greatest American Showman or Greatest Showman, whatever.
Showman,
but it's in the spirit of Willy Wonka, that kind of music, and it's kind of catchy. But the fact remains that it's an upbeat, feel-good type of movie, and you know how it ends because you've seen with the original Willy Wonka, so he's not like
he builds the factory, and now we just need to see how the Oompa Loompas get
But they
there.
present it in such a way. This is you understand how he loves chocolate. It's not just a chocolate; it's a way of life. It helps you do certain things, overcome fears, and all sorts of different things. But his gift to humanity to give you happiness through chocolate. Some people do it through song or dance or, taking your team to the Super Bowl and winning it, right? He does it through chocolate, and you felt it. You got into that character. And I was literally watching this screen like, you just never. Yeah. My smile was always there.
It never went away. My smile never went away.
Who was the Keys character, the police chief, kept getting fatter in the movie. I thought it was great. But yeah, I like the movie. I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars easy.
I mean, for this movie to do what it did, like, there are so many ways you could have, like, this movie could have gone sideways and be like, you just ruined it. Like, but it never does. And like, again, it pays great homage to the original. We forget about the Johnny Depp version. I won't talk about that. I won't.
Never seen it.
Yeah, never seen it. Golly, I know some folks love it. It's like, it's more true to the book. It's not as good as this.
I saw the trailer, and Depp was like, he laughed that silly girl laugh. I was like, I'm not watching. What? That's not even a character he should have even played.
And the Oompas are like size like ants.
Yeah, no.
It's
anyway, we digress.
But that movie, like, again, nothing but smiles across the board. Yeah. The only criticism I would have with it is there's a plot thread between his mother and the bar of chocolate. Mm-hmm. He holds on to this chocolate throughout the whole movie. He's had this chocolate since he's a child.
Don't give it away.
Like, does this chocolate not go bad?
Chocolate, it's like Twinkies. They never go bad.
I'm like, that chocolate, like, when it finally pays off at the end of the movie, it's like, man, that chocolate's got to be, like, so rotten or something.
I wish they would have done more of a tie-in to the 72 at the end of the movie, more of a tie-in to the beginning of the 72 movie.
Which is what?
The factory and...
At the beginning of the 72 movie, it's just about them giving out the golden tickets.
I know. I've seen it, more times than you. What I'm saying is I'm talking about how he built the factory and the Oompa Loompas moved in and it started creating all these things. And then you had the chocolate competitors and all that kind of stuff. So... But that's not a criticism. It's just I would have liked to have maybe caught a snippet. Just like 30 seconds of it. That's
maybe in a sequel they'll make that for you.
Yeah, maybe.
And we will close out this show.
We're not going to talk about the Grizzlies and how great they are?
That's for another topic. Ooh. And we are just... I will touch on this for 1 second with the Grizzlies. I'm convinced... someone from the Titan strength and conditioning staff snuck into the Grizzlies facility this offseason.
That's a good one, Josh.
I'm convinced because they probably got wind of, if I stick around here in Tennessee, I'm definitely going to get screwed over and axed. Yeah. So let me go downstate in Memphis and see if I can sneak onto their staff and maybe do a better job. Oh, no, I don't. Everyone is injured. Everywhere I go, I touch, people are injured. I'm convinced someone from our Titan staff snuck into the building and messed something up with our players. Conspiracy theory, but it's too crazy. It's too crazy. But,
well, it didn't happen, but it's fun to think about.
And I won't think about it now because we are going to be talking about once again, another happy topic. The Lions have broken their 32-year curse.
Yes.
With a playoff win. And kind of like me crying at the end of Wonka, there were grown men, and I have the screenshot right here, grown men crying on live TV.
That dude didn't have any beers at all.
On live TV.
He's allowed to cry.
Yes. Him and multiple others crying on TV over a playoff win for their first time in 32 years. And I'll get your quick thoughts on that real quick. What do you think about the Lions winning the way they did?
I don't have words.
The stadium was full 1 hour before the game.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't have words for the team. I have words for the city. I mean, for them, because the city itself, because of politics, because of economic downturns and all that kind of stuff, the city has taken a beating in the last 35 years. They love their sports. They're kind of like Cleveland is. They're gung ho for their sports. But for this team in particular to have gone 0-16, right, 1 year, not too distant past, to now being just 2 wins away from playing the Super Bowl. And they have a home game the next one. So, and if the 49ers lose, they have 2 home games if they win. So my thing is, congratulations to the city. That one shot of the dude crying, that I think that sums it up for this city. It really, because they've waited and waited and waited and been through so many downturns. And then, Barry Sanders, their savior of the franchise, came in and looked to be the part, but then all of a sudden he retired, and it's like, where do we go from here? So
I don't know if Mike Tirico's a Lions or Detroit fan, but he was asked about it by Collinsworth, like, so what's the vibe with the city? And after his second year kneel down, he talked about, there's a saying in Detroit, SOL, same old Lions.
Same old Lions, yeah.
So
it's just like in Nashville, it'd be SOT, same old Titans. I mean, it ain't no different. So congratulations to the Lions.
We only wait 20 years for something like that.
And guess what? Now, if the Lions are successful, you're going to have fans come out of the woodwork, just like when the Patriots started winning their Super Bowls. It was like, and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. No one is from Boston. No one is from Pittsburgh. Not that many people are actually, if you're from that area, you get to be a fan,
yes.
Right? But if you live in California, you don't have a right to be a Patriots fan or a Steelers fan unless your parents maybe lived there, right? But everybody wants to be a part of a winner. And so everybody started joining the Steelers. Oh, the Steeler Nation, yeah.
Cowboys.
Patriots Nation, yeah. Man, you haven't set foot inside the state, much less anything else. Why are you claiming them as your team? No one could say that we're bandwagon fans. That's for sure. So anyway, you're going to see all of a sudden, all these people are going to be Lions fans now. Well, good for them if they can make that happen. But I hate bandwagon fans. Can't stand them. I
think from the turnaround that one Jared Goff had being traded to Detroit after taking the Rams to the Super Bowl, being traded from the Rams to Detroit, essentially being cast out.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield style. Like both of us thought, like, how long can he be the quarterback? They just drafted Hendon Hooker. Mm-hmm. Maybe he could be the future of the line. And maybe that may still be the case. Maybe that's no longer the case now. But
I don't know.
The way Jared Goff and this offense, this team, to your point, with the city of Detroit, it's almost something out of a movie now.
Yeah.
Now they're going to get 2 home playoff games.
Maybe.
Thanks to the Packers.
Oh, these 2, the last one and this one. Yeah. Maybe 3 then if 49ers lose.
Man, oh man, if that happens. You
never know.
Oh boy.
This is the year, man. This is the year of unpredictability.
If you're a Vikings fan or a Bears fan, you don't want that to happen.
Why not?
Just so that's the last thing you need to worry about is Jordan Love has arrived and the Lions have gotten to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out your own problems in the division.
Kirk Cousins,
Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, who knows?
Caleb Williams. How's Caleb Williams going to get there?
Bears. If they trade away Justin Fields. But Jared Goff did such an amazing job in that game. They almost blew it in the second half, Tennessee Titans style. It's like you score X amount of points in the first half, score a little bit, not as much in the second half, and you're just clinging on. You're clinging on. And Aaron Glenn, I think, is the defensive coordinator.
He is.
For the Lions.
Yes.
Played very Titan-esque defense.
That's why I don't want someone like that.
You bend, and then when you get to the red zone, they don't score touchdowns. They kick field goals. They field goal it away. It's
I want to win
very Titan-esque.
Like the Packers won. I want to win, like these other teams that just put their foot on your throat and just do not let up. Mm-hmm. The Texans come to mind. 2 offensive-minded. They have – actually, hold on a second. So, actually, the Texans are a defensive-minded head coach with Bobby Slow, who we want to be our head coach.
Exactly.
And then Green Bay, but they have an offensive-minded head coach. So, anyway, who was their offensive coordinator?
I can't think of it right now for the Packers right now. But, again,
people come here to be informed because we have all the answers.
It's LaFleur's show, so. It's LaFleur show in Green Bay. But in terms of Megan, my wife, wonderful, wonderful wife, she was crying at the end of the game too. So, I mean, what a week for her. The Wolverines win the championship. She's a quasi-Packer fan.
No, you can't be a Packer fan and a Lions fan. I don't care.
She's a Jordan Love believer.
No, I don't give her credit for the Packer stuff. She can take credit for the Lions stuff, but not the Packer stuff.
And then the Lions win.
Yes.
So she believed in Jordan Love the same way I believe in Michael Vick in
I
Philadelphia.
don't care. When McNair went to the Ravens, was I rooting for McNair? No, I was hoping he'd lose every time. I don't root for a player. I root for my team.
You root for McNair if he got traded to an NFC team?
Yeah, but not a...
There you go. So
Packers are in the Lions division, man. What are you talking about? That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
I know it's not the same thing.
Okay, then.
I know it's not the same thing.
God.
But the Lions were looked so fraughtly upon, though. So you could take pity in them. No longer can you do that because they may be in the NFC Championship game.
Maybe.
So, especially coming off the Bucks and kind of roll off some topics before we got some time before we're done with the show. We got about 12 minutes left in the show, so we actually did pretty well considering our first live stream. So
normally these go an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So we're just going to do off the cuff.
Off the cuff. We're going to riff
right here.
Libbity bibbity.
Hey, look, Bee-Boo. So in terms of, again, we'll touch on the Grizzlies real quick. So.
Basketball's not my subject.
I can't tell you how shocked I am with the amount of injuries that have happened. It's like there's broken glass somewhere. There's a crack somewhere down there at FedEx Forum, right near whatever place it's called, Sissy Lodge, log cabin or whatever it's called down there with the jewelry store and the cafe.
What's your point?
Area. Whatever crack, whatever weirdness is going on around here needs to be fixed because this is the 1 year we've had injuries galore.
What are you talking about? What do you mean what crack? The owners and the general manager, whoever does the drafting, whoever does their hiring and firing and player acquisition, screwed up this year or this offseason.
They screwed up.
100%. That's where
they screwed up with one
crack
thing.
is.
They screwed up with one thing, the center spot.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
That's a huge mess up.
It's a huge mess
when you
up.
put all your eggs in a Steven Adams basket.
But Bain being injured, John Morant being injured, Marcus Smart being injured. I mean, I kind of expect Derrick Rose to be injured, but he was supposed to be your backup, so not much playing time you were expected from him. He gets injured. Steven Adams, like again, yes, the one cardinal sin versus this organization in this. GM, Zach Kleiman, awesome GM since you came here in 2019. Awesome job you've done here. You've taken gems out of second rounds. G.G. Jackson, top 15 pick. Some were saying he should have been a top 5 pick now. Has looked great these last 3 games.
Awesome, I guess.
Last 3 games. Only could have shown that because of the injuries. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise now.
Maybe.
So the one cardinal sin that Zach Kleiman and Taylor Jenkins have done this year is they banked on Steven Adams coming back from his injury, which all signs are saying he will be back for 2023, 2024. Don't you worry. He's out for the previous year. Yes, we lost to the Lakers. We would have won had we had Steven Adams.
Because he was injured.
And without Dylan Brooks, too. I'm glad he's gone. That's the one other thing we did great. Get rid of Dylan Brooks.
Well.
But with the Grizzlies,
is Tyler Jenkins
Taylor
Jenkins is he a leader of men?
He's a leader of men, and he's more schematically advanced than Mike Vrabel will ever be in his life. So
he's a leader of men. That's all I care about.
So that's a fact right there. He's won more playoff games than Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all eyes for next year. Me as a fan for the Grizzlies, I'm just looking forward to next year. Everyone's going to be healthy. We hopefully get a new center or a better backup than Xavier Tillman, Mr. Power Forward, pretending to be a center. Just no. If you want, we can be a team that plays small, but we can never do.
Let me ask the question, because it's the elephant in the room that nobody seems to talk about nowadays. And I understand offense is exciting, but gee whiz, where's defense gone, bro? I mean, I'm seeing scores of 150 to 120. You never saw that in the 80s, and then ever. Maybe one game. It's in the Guinness Book of Records, right? But every game was 78 to 92. What happened to defense?
For a long time during the grit and grind era, and those of you that are watching may know this, that are Grizzly fans, there was a long time stat during the grit and grind era that if we scored over 100 points, that was an undefeated win for us. That was a win guaranteed with Tony Allen, Zebo, Mike Conley.
Okay, so what happened to it?
I don't know. Is
it an either or? You can't
NBA.
play good offense unless you have a sucky defense.
I think the Warriors have just so transformed the 3-point shot that everyone takes a 3-point shot early in the shot clock. And
it's the ESPN curse. If you look good on the top 10, sinking a free throw,
you got 24 seconds on the play,
sinking a 50-footer, right? That's what you want. That's sexy. But not playing a defense where you can steal the ball or they can't get into the paint or maybe you block a shot. That's not sexy. That's not on the top 10. Come on, man. Play some defense. Let's get back to winning like real men win.
You got 24 seconds.
Defense wins championship, baby.
Seconds on the shot clock in the NBA. And most teams, because of the defense and high scoring, they're shooting halfway into that clock instead of back in the old days, they drained that clock down all the way down.
My high school coach would have eaten you alive if you shot anywhere inside or outside of 10 seconds on the shot clock. I mean, he would pass. Minimum 5 passes. If you took a shot and you missed it before one of the 5, timeout. You're on the bench. And here comes Jack, third string, coming in there, all 4 foot 10 inches of me, lighting it up.
Yeah. And a little bit, we touched on it with Godzilla -1. How awesome was that movie? I mean, I'll just say from our cousin, Paul Jr., back in Virginia, livid Godzilla fan, has pretty much seen all of the Japanese Godzilla movies. So watching Godzilla -1 was a definite 21st century telling of one of those old school Japanese movies. You did CGI. You would not believe the budget that it was at in today's Hollywood. It's like District 9 and Deadpool kind of budget. It's like Passion of the Christ kind of budget. It's like that low of a budget, but quality super high.
Oh yeah,
super high. But
and the storyline. I mean, it was about the people. It was about Godzilla, but it was all about the people. I have one issue
at the end. It's someone comes out alive that should not be coming out alive at the end of the movie.
Okay.
Yes, I was tearing up a bit. I'm like,
people have survived a tornado, Josh. People have survived tornadoes.
What's the percentage?
I don't know. All you need is one.
Okay, you and me will drive into a tornado. Then
no, we're not. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
We'll live stream that and say as we're going down.
I liked it. I thought again, you started learning, and it was true to form, true to life, because the culture, the Japanese culture, especially after World War II, even before.
This was the unique thing. Yeah, this was a movie that took place right after World War II, whereas the other Godzilla movies, they would take place.
They're modern.
Sometime
today.
Sometime in the 1960s, 70s. Yeah.
So, you're talking about the other,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they never took place during World War II.
No, but they remained true to the Japanese. Everything I've read and seen and all that, what you've been led to believe the Japanese culture is like, and they did. I don't think they did it any disservice whatsoever. And then how the movie ended, I didn't expect it. I thought it was going to be something different.
I expected it, considering how the other Godzilla movies in Japanese.
Yeah, but the way it ended, the way it happened.
Are you talking about the last frame before the credits roll?
I'm talking about the one main character who was the pilot.
Okay.
That character, right? And how he was going to save everything, right? And you thought, whatever. You thought he was going to do it a certain way. It's not what happened. So, that to me, I didn't expect. And that's what I'm saying. It was about the people and how they went from one place to another place over the time of the movie, and you saw how they got there, and it was really, I thought it was very touching. But again, I've never seen a Godzilla movie that had that kind of character development. So outstanding. I give that a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I hope they do a follow-up or some sort of another Godzilla movie. I hope they do another one.
Maybe.
Please give us a monster.
Sure, they will.
I'd love to have a monster fighting Godzilla. I would love to see, just by side, we have our Godzilla Kong Monsterverse over here with the legendary pictures here in America. And now we possibly have something going on with Godzilla in a revised Toho Studios that created the character Godzilla. Now they did Shin Godzilla, now Godzilla -1. I would love to see side by side. Now that we have monsters over here, what can Toho do with a limited budget again? Godzilla versus someone else.
Mothra.
Could you whoever it is, like a rehash of somebody or a new monster? Like, what can you do? Like, if they made a epic Godzilla -1 kind of movie for like now $30 million, and you had an extra monster, and
Godzilla versus the Hulk?
Jeez, you just suck the joy out. You suck the intelligence out of some topics sometimes. I mean, like in all seriousness, just to see because these American movies go for $150-200 million.
Yes.
If we see Toho do something
Yes.
of their quality again for $30 million.
Yes.
Again, Hollywood, this should be a wake up call to say, hey, we can make great movies for less.
Yeah.
And get more return for less.
I don't know. Maybe that's why Japanese cars are built better than American cars.
Yeah, tell that to Hyundai.
That's South Korean.
Still, I mean,
it's not Japanese. What are you talking about?
Man,
learn your geography.
I can't stand.
Anything you want to say to your mother, by the way?
I love your mother. If you're watching the show, I love you.
I love you, babe.
Anything you want to say to your wife?
I just did.
Yeah. All right, we are coming up on the 1 hour mark, and we will close the show there. And we want to thank you for those who are watching. You crazy enough to watch this channel and us two talk it out about sports, movies, and life. I am Joshua Mickle.
And I am Jack Mickle.
And that's my father, Jack Mickle III. Not Jesus, not
Anton or
not
Apollo.
Anton or whoever he says at church. He is. Again, Josh, Jack right there. And as always, keep kicking it to the king. We'll see you next time.